Yeah, the big thing about this debate tonight was just how combative Tim Kaine was. He was on the front foot from the get-go, and every answer was loaded with an attack on Donald Trump, time and time and time again. This was one example of that.
Donald Trump during his campaign has called Mexicans rapists and criminals. He's called women slobs, pigs, dogs, disgusting. I don't like saying that in front of my wife and my mother. He attacked an Indiana-born federal judge and said he was unqualified to hear a federal lawsuit because his parents were Mexican. He went after John McCain, a POW, and said he wasn't a hero because he'd been captured. He said African Americans are living in hell, and he perpetrated this outrageous and bigoted lie that President Obama is not a U.S. citizen.
He says ours is an insult-driven campaign. Did you all just hear that? Ours is an insult-driven campaign? I mean, to be honest with you, if Donald Trump had said all the things that you said he said, in the way you said he said them, he still wouldn't have a fraction of the insults that Hillary Clinton leveled when she said that half of our supporters were a basket of deplorables.
So, Dave, was Robbie Mook sitting back there with Hillary Clinton going, get tick, 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 tick? Hang on, you missed one. You missed one. You missed one.
Yeah.
The problem was there was just so many, you just couldn't focus on exactly what he was trying to do.
Yeah, oftentimes with these debates, you got to be laser focused and surgical when it comes to those attacks, and he threw the kitchen sink. I think part of that was a function of him wanting to fan the flames and continue sort of the dialogue with some of these outrageous things that Donald Trump has said. But I think the challenge was, from a performance standpoint, a lot of it got lost because it was too much at once, and I think he should have been a little bit more surgical in those attacks.
So, John, before you jump in, I want to say Donald Trump was probably looking at Tim Kaine going, now that's what happens when you over-prepare.
Never doing that. Right. Donald's not in any risk of over-preparing. But look, it wasn't a good night for Tim Kaine. But what happened was he laid out too much information. I think what he was trying to do was trying to set a trap for Governor Pence. He wanted to put Governor Pence back on his heels, thinking I have to defend all of those accusations, when Pence so smartly did what Donald Trump should have done last week. Put it aside and went back to message, and it was the basic message that is the winning message for Donald Trump, which is if you like the direction of the country, we're not your guys, but if you want change, we're your only hope.
It kind of felt like these guys were just sort of ranting. They weren't listening to each other. I mean, they were just sort of talking over the top of each other, right?
Right. It was a lot of crosstalk, and I think the question is, like, did voters tune out? Right. You're already going to have, like, historically low numbers of people, like, viewing this because you had so many people tuning into the blockbuster event with Trump and Clinton. But, like, did people tune out because there was too much crosstalk? I think, and that's something we'll see, obviously, with the data.
But do people tune into the vice presidential debate looking for substance? I mean, how much do these debates, the vice presidential ones, move the needle?
Not tremendously. I don't think historically they have. But tonight may be interesting because there were a lot of never-Trumpers on the Republican side that were worried, going, oh, my gosh, this Trump guy, does he have the temperament? And then after watching Mike Pence, they go, oh, my gosh, you know, at least his number two is in control.
Okay, well, you talked about the fact that Pence took control of the debate. He obviously has a good communication style. He's a former radio talkback host, so he's got the style down pat. And to that point, it took him about 27 minutes, I think, to basically flip a question, whatever it was, I can't remember, but to Hillary's emails controversy. Listen to this.
Hillary Clinton had a private server in her home that had classified information on it about drone strikes. Emails from the President of the United States of America were on there. Her private server was subject to being hacked by foreign powers.
I'd like to ask you about Syria.
We could put cybersecurity first if we just make sure the next Secretary of State doesn't have a private server.
So, you know, does Mike Pence then become the debating coach for Donald Trump? But, you know, Donald Trump doesn't really like people who are better than, who do things better than him. Does Donald Trump now hate Mike Pence?
No, Donald Trump will probably say, see, I hire good people. I surround myself with good people. But Donald Trump can learn something from tonight, and I think he will, whether he admits it or not. I think he will. Your own CNN poll showed that skewed Democratic, showed that Mike Pence...
41% to 30%.
That's right. Showed Mike Pence was the winner tonight. I think even Chris Matthews on MSNBC said that Pence was the winner. And it was because he drove the conversation, and he didn't take the traps that Kaine was laying out. So, look, I think Trump is going to learn a thing or two, But we'll see on Sunday.
Dave, is there anything the Clinton campaign can point to tonight, and say, that was a win, that's a point in our corner?
Well, I think on the facts, right? I mean, the reality is, like, we won on substance, we won on the issues, and we won on the facts. The reality is, like, Mike Pence he wasn't the defender-in-chief tonight of, like, backing up everything that Donald Trump has said on the campaign trail. In fact, he continued to pivot away from everything that Donald Trump said and to change the subject, frankly, because I don't think he wants to back himself into a corner 4 years from now. If Donald Trump loses when he runs, he doesn't want to have to answer those questions about why he defended those sort of outlandish remarks that Donald Trump
But that's not also the secret sauce of this election. If you're Donald Trump, is not talking about Donald Trump. It's saying if you want change, Donald Trump is the answer. That is the message. So they shouldn't spend their time defending what Donald Trump said. It should be all about wanting change.
Okay, we talked about Tim Kaine, his role as attack dog, as a rabid pit bull, and he tried. Boy, did he try!
70 times.
70, he dropped it 70 times, and there were some, there were some pretty scathing attacks like this one.
Ronald Reagan said something really interesting about nuclear proliferation back in the 1980s. He said the problem with nuclear proliferation is that some fool or maniac could trigger a catastrophic event. And I think that's who Governor Pence's running mate is, exactly who President Reagan warned us about.
Senator, that was even beneath you and Hillary Clinton, and that's pretty low.
I mean, let's just be clear here. The Democrat vice presidential nominee just called the Republican presidential nominee either a fool or a maniac.
Yeah.
And Pence, at that point, he almost bit, but then he pulled back. I mean, which showed the discipline that he had going into this.
And it's also a hard attack for Kaine to make because Pence is so under control. He's so calm. So to say, you're a maniac, your ticket's out of control.
You're with a maniac.
You're with a maniac.
Yeah.
It's a hard argument to make on that stage when you've got a skilled tactician on the other side.
So then that begs the question as we talk about preparation as to the way he was prepared and the strategy they laid out for Kaine. I mean, this comes back your strategist, Dave. Did they get it wrong?
Well, look, I think it's emblematic of the fact that, like, Tim Kaine is no Hillary Clinton when it comes to debates, right? She killed it last week, and I think she's going to kill it again this Sunday. But I think, yeah, perhaps he had too much caffeine. He was too energetic. He was too excited. I think he should have been more surgical and more methodical in his attacks rather than doing the kitchen sink. But look, there is some value in what he said when it came to the nukes. I mean, Donald Trump is a guy who has called for more nukes around the world, whether it's Korea, Japan, South Korea. I mean, that's pretty, like, unbelievable.
But that never broke through because he was doing an oppo dump the whole debate.
Every time there was a question, he was like, oh, by the way, did I mention that Donald Trump called a woman a fat pig?
I think
national security, what?
I think here's what happened. Team Clinton over-prepared their vice presidential nominee. And I think the Clinton team came in cocky.
Yeah.
They knew they had a good performance, and Kaine probably thought, I'm going to come in and seal this deal.
Well, and they also probably thought that he was, like, going to go and defend point by point all of the attacks against Donald Trump, which he just pivoted away from.
But then doesn't that come down to know thy opponent?
It does. Right.
So
Precisely.
something went wrong.
Right. Look, I think at the end of the day, though, like, we still got our points across, and we're still talking about the substance and the issues that were raised this evening.
The Clinton campaign is very lucky that VP debates don't matter.
One very quickly, while we still have a little bit of time, on the issue of Russia and Vladimir Putin, this came up time and time again. And Pence, this is one area where Pence differed from Trump. He called Putin a small bullying leader. And then in Syria, he actually suggested that the U.S. should use direct military force.
The provocations by Russia need to be met with American strength. And if Russia chooses to be involved and continue, I should say, to be involved in this barbaric attack on civilians in Aleppo, the United States of America should be prepared to use military force to strike military targets of the Assad regime, to prevent them from this humanitarian crisis that is taking place in Aleppo.
And again, this was an important point because it does seem to suggest that he is conflating Russia and Syria in the same conflict and suggesting maybe some kind of conflict with the Russians.
That was a big statement tonight.
It was.
I think it's going to be, it's going to come up again on Sunday, and Trump better be prepared to go into a little more depth on that.
Oh, that should be fine then. No problem, right? Right?
He's a policy expert. He knows more than the generals.
He's very good with foreign policy. That's his forte.
You got to wonder, though, whether Speaker Ryan's looking at this performance from Mike Pence thinking, got the wrong one.
Yeah, is there a rule switch?
Yeah,
Can we change it?
Because he was calm and fluent, right?
No,
he kind of had, he held
He
his
did
own.
an excellent job, and honestly, if he were at the top of the ticket, Republicans would be up right now.
I can see you dreaming now.
But he was just like all those 16 other guys that Trump saw off during the
Sure.
primary.
Yeah, it was an anti-establishment election. He couldn't
Yeah.
have got through a primary. That is a good point.
Okay, thanks guys.
Jason,
Thank you.
So good to have you with us. Thank you.